Hey guys, it is Wednesdays with Chasey Poo, and today we are talking about unwanted consequences of transition. So, I feel like we've kind of talked about this a little bit with testosterone, so maybe I won't focus on that, but I will say that it does suck that we go on testosterone and we can't pick and choose the changes that we want, okay? It sucks. I don't want to lose my hair. I don't want to have all these random hairs on my arm. I don't want to have that. I don't want some of my fat to redistribute in some of the areas that it has, and all of these certain things that I just really don't want to deal with, but I have to deal with. So that for me is like a huge consequence, I guess. Strange wording, I guess, but consequence or whatever of transitioning. But I think that the biggest consequence or whatever that I have, and it's more like, it's not like I hate being trans, because for me, being trans, part of my identity, part of my livelihood, part of everything that I do in my life, and I love it that way. That's who I am. I'm super out, super proud, all of that shit. And this shirt just kind of shows that. This is from 0.5cc, by the way. You can take a look at their website. So, I think that I hate being trans, and this is part of this topic, is I hate being trans when I have to deal with things related to like gynecology. So like I have to get a pap test, or I need to go get a pelvic exam, or I'm bleeding, so I need to go on Lupron for a couple of months, and I have to up my testosterone dose because I'm bleeding and I don't want to bleed because that's super uncomfortable. Other than that, honestly, I feel like some of the consequences of transition that people might talk about would be like losing your family members, but for me specifically, I lost friends. I didn't talk to family for a very long time, but I've come to a place where it's not really a consequence of transitioning, it's just what I had to do, and I've grown from it, and I talk to my family now, and it's like none of like my aunts and stuff, my cousins, everyone, we kind of just like ignore it. We don't really talk about it, so it's whatever. But I feel like they take me more seriously because I'm more successful, and I'm more successful online, and that's kind of sad. But for me, really the biggest consequence of transition, and I guess it's like a consequence of dysphoria, but it's not like we can choose this. Do you know what I'm saying? I feel like a consequence is like, it's like, what are the pros and cons of transitioning? And to me, there was no pros and cons. It was like, I have to transition in order for me to live. So I guess I don't see this as a consequence. I feel like I see this as like, it's like a burden because it sucks and I don't want to deal with it, but it's not like I have the choice to not transition or to detransition or to not have dysphoria, because I have dysphoria and it's there and I can't do anything about it sometimes, and transitioning was the only way to alleviate that, and getting top surgery and starting hormones and legal transition stuff, and that was all fine and dandy. But man, there's still some parts that I just can't get over, and I feel like to me those are the biggest parts of my identity that, or of my transness or whatever, my transition, that I hate. I hate that. And I hated the legal stuff when I would go somewhere and they would, my legal name was somewhere, and they would, my birth name was somewhere, and they would say it. It would just kill me. Like, I've worked so hard to not have this happen, and yet it happens. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, that's all I have to say. Let me know what you think. What has been your biggest maybe burden of transition? Because like I said, this is me, right? I don't represent the whole trans community. This is just how I feel about my transition. I don't really feel like there's a consequence or a pros and cons list. I feel like some things suck and I'm allowed to complain about them, I guess. Anyways, let me know. Have a great week. Bye.